Prabhu Nityananda Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. We continue reading from Canto 8 of Srimad Bhagavatam. Yesterday we finished the chapter 13. Chapter 13, Sukadev Goswami was telling us about the Manus from 7th Manu right up to the 14th Manu, the different names of the Manus, different names of Lord Indra, the names of the incarnations of the Lord and what he would do, for what his main activity would be. So we read that in the 13th chapter. Today we begin the 14th chapter, the system of universal management. So there's a brief summary by Srila Prabhupada. We'll read that first. This chapter describes the duties allotted to Manu by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. All the Manus, as well as their sons, the sages, the demigods, and the Indras, act under the orders of various incarnations of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. At the end of every Chaturyuga, consisting of Satyug, Dwapar Yug, Treta Yug, and Kali Yug, the sages acting under the orders of the Supreme Personality of Godhead distribute the Vedic knowledge and thus reinstate eternal religious principles. Manu's duty is to re-establish the system of religion. Manu's sons execute Manu's orders, and thus the entire universe is maintained by Manu and his descendants. The Indras are various rulers of the heavenly planets. Assisted by the demigods, they rule the three worlds. The Supreme Personality of Godhead also appears as incarnations in different yugas. He appears as Sanak, Sanatana, Yagyavakya, Dattatreya, and others. And thus, he gives instructions in spiritual knowledge, prescribed duties, principles of mystic yoga, and so on. As Marichi and others, he creates progeny. As the king, he punishes the miscreants. And in the form of time, he annihilates the creation. One may argue, if the all-powerful Supreme Personality of Godhead can do anything simply by his will, why has he arranged for so many personalities to manage? How and why does this? How and why he does this cannot be understood by those who are under the clutches of Maya. So the management of the universe, that's what we are gonna read here. The system of universal management. That's the title of the chapter. Shri Rajo Vacha
Virajo Uvacha
Manvantareshu Bhagavan
Manvantareshu Bhagavan
Yatha Manav Adayastva Ime
Yata Yatha Manav Adayasthavime
Yasmin Karmani Yeyena
Yasmin Karmani Yena
Niyuktasthad Badasvame.
Niyuktastadvadasvame.
Maharaj translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Maharaj Parikshit inquired, O most opulent Sukadev Goswami, please explain to me how Manu and the others in each Manvantar are engaged in their respective duties and by whose order they are so engaged. Shri Rishi Rovacha
Sri Rishir Uvacha
Manavo Manu Putrascha
Manvo Manu Putrascha
Munayascha Mahipate
Munayascha Mahipate
Indra Sura Ganascheva
Indrasura Ganasya
Sarve Purusha Shasanaha
सर्वे पुरुषशासनाः
Sukadev Goswami said, the Manus, the sons of Manu, the great sages, the Indras, and all the demigods, O king, are appointed by the Supreme Personality of Godhead in his various incarnations, such as Yajna. So Krishna is the one who's appointing these personalities, these rulers of the universe. We have democracy, so we are voting. The general population is voting. But here, this universal management, they are specially appointed by the Lord Himself. The incarnations of the Lord, they are appointing this managers of the universe, managers of the universal affairs. Yagyadayo kathita.
यज्ञादयो याः
या
प्रथिताः
कथितः
Orushayasthanavo nripa.
पौरुषत्वो नृपः
Manav adayo jagat yatram.
मनसादयो
मनायो
जगत्यात्रा
जगद्यात्रा
Nayanti abhi prachoditaha.
नयन्ति
यन्ति अपि
आभिः
प्रचोदितः.
O King, I've already described to you various incarnations of the Lord, such as Yajna. The Manus and others are chosen by these incarnations, under whose direction they conduct the universal affairs. The Manus execute the orders of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in his various incarnations. So the boss is Krishna. Like the boss is there, then the boss will appoint general manager, secretary, treasurer, who's going to be in the ops department, who's going to be in the this department, that department, the boss. So the boss is Krishna, and he is making sure that responsible people are there, those who are qualified to be in that position. That's how Krishna is choosing, no? That they are qualified to do because it's a great responsibility. Chatur Yugante Kalena
चतुर्युगान्ते
चतुर्युगान्ते
कालेन
Grastan Shruti Gananyatha
ग्रस्तान् श्रुति
ग्रस्तानुति
गणान्यथा
गणान्यथा
Tapasa Rashayo Pashyan
तपसा
तपसा ऋषयो
विषयोपश्यन्
पश्य
Yato Dharma Sanatanaha.
यतो धर्मः सनातनः
सनातनः.
At the end of every 4 yugas, the great saintly persons, upon seeing that the eternal occupational duties of mankind have been misused, re-establish the principles of religion. Means after the Kali Yuga finishes, then again the religious principles have to be re-established. In this words, in this verse, the words dharma and sanatana are very important. Sanatana means eternal and dharma means occupational duties. From Satyug to Kalyug, the principles of religion and occupational duty gradually deteriorate. In Satyug, the religious principles are observed in full without deviation. In Treta Yuga, however, these principles are somewhat neglected and only three-fourths of the religious duties continue. In Dwapar Yuga, only half of the religious principles continue. And in Kali Yuga, only one-fourth of the religious principles, which gradually disappear. At the end of Kali Yuga, the principles of religion or the occupational duties of humanity are almost lost. Indeed, in this Kali Yuga, we have passed through only 5,000 years. Yet the decline of Sanatan Dharma is very prominent. The duty of saintly persons, therefore, is to take up seriously the cause of Sanatan Dharma and try to reestablish it for the benefit of the entire human society. So, religious principles in Satyug, they say, right? Religion is Dharma is standing on 4 legs, Satyug all 4, Treta only 3, Dwapar only 2, and Kalyug only 1. But by the end of Kalyug, all religious principles will be lost. The Krishna consciousness movement has been started according to this principle. What is that principle? To re-establish Sanatan Dharma, to spread Sanatan Dharma, to make people aware of the Sanatan Dharma. As stated in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 12, Chapter 3, Text 51. Kale dosha nidhe rajan, asti hi eko mahan guna, kirtanad eva krishnasya mukta sangha param rajet. The entire Kali Yuga is full of faults. It is like an unlimited ocean of faults. But the Krishna consciousness movement is very authorized. Therefore, following in the footsteps of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who 500 years ago inaugurated the movement of Sankirtana, Krishna Kirtan, we are trying to introduce this movement according to the superior orders all over the world. So this movement is inaugurated by Lord Chaitanya himself, the Sankirtana movement. Lord Chaitanya 500 years ago started the Sankirtana movement. And Srila Prabhupada, following in the footsteps of the predecessor acharyas, he continued this movement and in fact spread it all over the world. So now if the inaugurators of this movement strictly follow the regulative principles and spread this movement for the benefit of all human society, they will certainly, okay, this is jumping. I'm sorry about that. They will certainly usher in a new way of life by re-establishing Sanatan Dharma, the eternal occupational duties of humanity. Eternal occupational duties of humanity. The eternal occupational duty of human being is to serve Krishna, Jivera Swarubhai Krishnera Nityadas. This is the purport of Sanatan Dharma. Sanatan means Nitya or eternal, and Krishna Das means servant of Krishna. The eternal occupational duty of the human being is to serve Krishna. This is the sum and substance of the Krishna consciousness movement. Jivera Swarubhai Krishnera Nityadas. So that is a Sanatan Dharma. And we need to follow it and spread it for the benefit of the entire human society. Is that okay? Okay, I'm not able to stop this jumping of the screen somehow. Okay, let's see.
If you think it's too much, then you can log out and then log in again. Maybe it's some technical problem sometimes. So if you think, but right now it's not happening. So it's okay.
8th, and we are on chapter
14th,
and then
the text number 5.
5th.
Yeah, 5th text. 5th.
Okay, cool. Thank you. So now I hope it doesn't jump, right? Now it won't. Ah, yeah, cool. Thanks. Okay. Tato dharmam chatushpadam
Tato dharmam chatushpadam
Padam
manavo harinoditaha
manvo harinoditaha
yukta sancharayanti adha
yukta
Yukta
sancharya vanti ada
swe swe kale mahim nripa.
swe swe kale mahim.
Thereafter, O King, the Manus, being fully engaged according to the instructions of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, directly re-establish the principles of occupational duty in its full 4 parts. Dharma or occupational duty can be established in its full 4 parts as explained in Bhagavad Gita. In Bhagavad Gita 4.1, the Lord says, Imam vivasvate yogam proktavan aham avyayam vivasvan manave praha manur ikshvake pravit. I instructed this imperishable science of yoga to the sun god Vivasvan, And Vivaswan instructed it to Manu, the father of mankind. And Manu, in turn, instructed it to Ikshvaku. This is the process of disciplic succession. Following the same process, the Krishna consciousness movement is teaching the principles of Bhagavad Gita as it is, without deviation, all over the world. Recently at this Mahakumbh Mela, by the Akhil Bharatiya Akhara, the Srila Prabhupada was felicitated as Vishwaguru at this Mahakumbh Mela. So many of these great sadhus, saints also honored Srila Prabhupada, giving him the title of Vishwaguru, and spreading the teachings of Lord Krishna all over the world. If the fortunate people of this time accept the instructions of Lord Krishna, they will certainly be happy in Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted everyone, at least in India, to become a preacher of this mission. In other words, one should become a guru and preach the Lord's instructions all over the world for the peace and prosperity of humanity. So Prabhupada here is reminding us of Lord Chaitanya's order. Lord Chaitanya says, on my order, you go and give Krishna consciousness to everyone. Give Krishna to everyone. And in that is the only peace formula. That's the only way that humanity can become peaceful and prosperous. Any comments, questions?
Mm.
Palayanti prajapala
Palayanti prajapala
yavad antam vibhagashaha
yavadantam vibhagashah
yagya bhaga bhujo deva
yagyabhagah bhujo deva
ye cha tatra nivitaschate.
ye
ye
cha
cha
tatrani
tatrani
vitashyate.
To enjoy the results of sacrifices, yagyas, the rulers of the world, namely the sons and grandsons of Manu, discharge the orders of the Supreme Personality of Godhead until the end of Manu's reign. The demigods also share the results of these sacrifices. As stated in Bhagavad Gita 4.2, Evam Parampara Praptam Imam Raja Rashayo Vidu. This supreme science was thus received through the chain of disciplic succession, and the saintly kings understood it in that way. This parampara system extends from Manu to Ikshvaku, and from Ikshvaku to his sons and grandsons. The rulers of the world in the line of hierarchy execute the order of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in the parampara system. So Manu, this Vivaswan Manu, our Manu currently, he got this knowledge from his father, Sun God. Sun God got it from Krishna. Then Vivaswan gave it to Ikshvaku. And that's how this knowledge was coming in the parampara system. This parampara was with the kings, Raja Rishi they are called. They're kings, but they're ruling as rishis. They have the spiritual knowledge. So they know how to rule the population and for the benefit of everyone, to also give them spiritual knowledge. Make sure everyone is taken care of. So anyone interested in peaceful life must participate in this parampara system and perform yagyas. As Gaudiya Vaishnavas in the parampara system of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we must perform Sankirtan Yagya all over the world. Yagya Sankirtana Prayar Yajanti hi Sumedasaha. So we are Gaudiya Vaishnavas. We are coming, we are in the Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Vaishnav Sampradaya. We are followers of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he took initiation in this Brahma Madhva Sampradaya, and followers of Lord Chaitanya are called the Gaudiyas. So it is Lord Chaitanya's order that we give Krishna consciousness to everyone, that we do Sankirtan, spread the holy name, spread the glories of Krishna so that everyone can become peaceful. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in this age of Kali. And he will be easily satisfied if the Sankirtan movement is spread vigorously all over the world. This will also make people happy without a doubt. So if we want to make Lord Chaitanya happy, we simply do Sankirtan. We engage in Sankirtan, and that is how we can please Lord Chaitanya. We can attract the mercy of Lord Chaitanya. So Lord Chaitanya is the incarnation. He established the Yuga Dharma. He gave us the Yuga Dharma. Kali Yuga Dharma, Hari Nam Sankirtan. Indro Bhagavata Dattam.
Indro Bhagavata
Bhagavata
Datta
Datta.
Trailokya Shriyam Urjitam.
Trailokyam Yamurjitam
Bunjana Pati Lokam Strin.
Gunjanaha Pati Lokan Strim
Kamam Loke Pravarshate.
Kamam Loke Pravarshati.
Indra, King of Heaven, receiving benedictions from the Supreme Personality of Godhead and thus enjoying highly developed opulences, maintains the living entities all over the three worlds by pouring sufficient rain on all the planets. So, Lord Indra, he is in charge of the rainfall, and he's able to do this by the mercy of the Lord. He has this power given to him by the Supreme Lord. Jnanam chanu yugam brute.
Jnanam Chanuyugam Brute
Hari Siddha Swarupadrik.
Harihi Siddha Swarupadre
Rishi Rupa Dhara Karma.
Rishi Rupadharaha Karma
Yogam Yogesha Rupadrik.
Yogam Yogesharupadre.
In every yuga, the Supreme Personality of Godhead Hari assumes the form of Siddhas, such as Sanak, to preach transcendental knowledge. He assumes the form of great saintly persons, such as Yagyavakya, to teach the way of karma. And he assumes the form of great yogis, such as Dattatreya, to teach the system of mystic yoga. For the benefit of all human society, not only does the Lord assume the form of Manu as an incarnation to rule the universe properly, but he also assumes the forms of a teacher, yogi, jnani, and so on for the benefit of human society. The duty of human society, therefore, is to accept the path of action enunciated by the Supreme Lord. In the present age, the sum and substance of all Vedic knowledge is to be found in Bhagavad Gita, which is personally taught by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And the same Supreme Godhead, assuming the form of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, expands the teachings of Bhagavad Gita all over the world. In other words, the Supreme Personality of Godhead Hari is so kind and merciful to human society that he's always anxious to take the fallen souls back home, back to Godhead. So Krishna, he's always eager for us to go back home. And so to help us, he's coming as different incarnations, as different personalities, either as Shakti-Avesh avatar, as portion of the plenary portion. But what is his anxiety? To bring us all back home, back to Godhead. Like he gave this Bhagavad Gita, is the essence. Gita-Upanishad is the essence of all the Vedas. He already gave us the essence of the Vedas 5,000 years ago. But then, to teach us how to follow the instructions of Bhagavad Gita, he came to personally teach us as Lord Chaitanya. Yeah? So he's coming time and time again, taking different incarnations, coming himself. And for what? To bring us back home, back to Godhead. That is Krishna's anxiety. So if we can make Krishna's anxiety our anxiety, we can get great mercy from Krishna. And Krishna has no anxiety for himself. But what is his anxiety? That we are suffering. So to stop our suffering, he wants us to go back home, back to Godhead. For himself, he's Atmaram. He is self-sufficient. He doesn't need anything. But he's this anxiety for us. So if we can also share in this anxiety, take up this anxiety, give Krishna consciousness to whoever, however we can, whatever, in whatever way we can. Or we can just simply become sympathetic to the Krishna consciousness movement or help somebody um, who's giving Krishna consciousness to others. Whatever way, then we can attract Krishna's mercy. Sargam Prajesha Rupena
Sargam
Dasyun Hanyat Swarad Vapu
Dasya
Kala Rupena Sarvesham
Kalarupena sarvesham
Abhavaya Prathak Gunaha.
abhavaya prathagunaha.
In the form of Prajapati Marichi, the Supreme Personality of Godhead creates progeny. Becoming the king, he kills the thieves and rogues. And in the form of time, he annihilates everything. All the different qualities of material existence should be understood to be qualities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, Marichi is here in the form of Prajapati Marichi. He creates progeny. Marichi is one of the Prajapatis, one of the great sages. Then, king is a representative of Krishna. Time, Krishna says, time I am. As time, he's annihilating everything. And then all the qualities, they're also created by Krishna. So there is energy. Everything and everyone is coming from Krishna. Stuyamano janer ebhir
Mano janer eve
mayaya nama rupaya
Mayaya namarupaya
vimohitatma bhirnana
Vimohit atmabhinana
darshaner nacha drishyate.
darshan nacha drishyate.
People in general are bewildered by the illusory energy, and therefore they try to find the absolute truth, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, through various types of research and philosophical speculation. Nonetheless, they are unable to see the Supreme Lord. Whatever actions and reactions take place for the creation, maintenance, and annihilation of this material world are actually brought about by the one Supreme Person. There are many varieties of philosophers trying to search for the ultimate cause under different names and forms, but they are unable to find the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, who explains in Bhagavad Gita that he is the origin of everything and the cause of all causes. Aham sarvasya prabhava. It's true, right? There are so many different philosophies, different philosophers, different people trying to understand where did it all began from, how did the universe come into creation, but not many people are able to understand it. Although Krishna has very clearly said in Bhagavad Gita everything. This inability is due to the illusory energy of the Supreme Lord. Devotees therefore accept the Supreme Personality of Godhead as He is and remain happy simply by chanting the glories of the Lord. That is the mood of the devotee, that the Lord has inconceivable powers. He's omnipotent. So he can do amazing, amazing things. The devotee accepts that Krishna is the creator, he's the origin of everything. He's accepting Krishna's words as he's speaking in the Bhagavad Gita. And also the great personalities, the great spiritual authorities say the same thing. Govindam Adi Purusham Tam Aham Bhajami, says Lord Brahma. Ishvara Parama Krishna, he says. And so the devotees are happy, they are under the shelter of the Supreme Lord. Etat kalpa vikalpasya
Etat kalpa vikalpasya
Yeah.
pramanam parikirtitam
pramanam
Parikirtitam.
yatra manvantarani ahush
yatra manvantarani ani ayush
chaturdasha pura vidaha.
chaturdasha
Dasha
pura
Pura Vidaha.
In one kalpa or one day of Brahma, there take place the many changes called vikalpas. O king, all of these have been previously described to you by me. Learned scholars who know the past, present, and future have ascertained that in one day of Brahma, there are 14 manus. Thus, in the Bhaktivedanta purports of the 8th canto, 14th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam entitled The System of Universal Management. Okay. Any comments? Questions?
So Hare Krishna Shilpaji, so in this chapter they were just telling us about that how the management is being done, right? Who is handling what and what are the responsibility.
Yeah, that Krishna has personally appointed. Krishna
Hmm.
as various incarnations. The incarnations, they are personally appointing the manus, the
Hmm.
demigods, the different managers of the universe to make sure that the universal affairs are carried out properly.
Hmm. And then this was
Because
also
someone
really
may
nice.
wonder, right? I'm sorry.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah. Some may wonder. Yeah.
Because then someone may wonder that, oh, how did Manu become in charge? Who put him there?
Hmm.
How
Hmm.
did this one
Hmm.
become
Hmm.
Indra? Or,
Hmm.
what's happening? Who's appointing? Is there voting going on? Or is there, what's happening? So here it very clearly stated that the
Hmm.
Supreme Lord in his incarnation, he is appointing them. They are following the religious principles. It's their duty to re-establish Sanatan Dharma. Sanatan Dharma, eternal occupational duty of the soul. And what is the eternal occupational duty of the soul? Jivera
To
Swarubhai Krishnera Nityadas.
Hmm.
serve Krishna.
Serve Krishna. Serve Krishna. That's right. So they are making sure that everyone understands these principles and are following these principles.
Hmm.
So at the age at like Satyug, Dwapar, Treta, Satyug, Treta Yug, Dwapar Yug, and Kali Yug, then when Kali Yug, religious principles are lost. Then again a new Satyug has to start. Then at that time, the saintly people who are there, then they start the new Satyug. Because Kali Yuga, when Kalki comes and he's going to kill almost everyone, and whatever
Hmm.
few saintly people are remaining, then they will bring in the new Satyug. Yeah, then religious principles again will be properly followed. New population will be there, like that.
Yeah. And also, like in Kali, why like chanting is given so much of importance, chanting and hearing. It's
Yeah.
because in Kali, right? Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, right, that not he said actually, the Lord incarnates as his name, right? His form, his name.
Yes,
That's why,
that's right.
right?
Yes, that's
Mm.
right. Yes. That's how the Lord is incarnated here. That's right. In the as the holy name.
His holy
As
name is the, yeah, it's his
yes, the Lord
incarnation.
Himself.
There's no
That's
difference.
no difference. There's no difference between Krishna and the holy name. One time
Holy.
one devotee was giving class and then he was saying Krishna is in his holy name. Srila Prabhupada said, no, Krishna is the holy name. The holy name is Krishna. Yeah, so non-different. That's how Krishna is present here with us in the form of the holy name. Yes.
That's the reason, right? So much like chant, chant, chant. We need to chant.
Yeah.
That's the only way. The is only way to get his,
Only way.
right? His, yeah.
That's right. To associate with Krishna, to revive our love for Krishna. Yeah. Only way. Hey, I think this was one of the shortest chapters we read. Eh?
The next is also short. The next is also short.
And X is also short. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, oh wow, it
So
finished. That was, I think, barely 11 chapters.
Chapter 14, very fast. Chapter 13 was still longer, but chapter 14, yeah, it's short.
Yeah, short. And now you're saying 15 is also short.
yeah, like the previous one. It's like the
Okay.
previous one. So this was the shortest, but it's like the previous one, still very, very short, like only 32, 33. Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. We'll read it tomorrow. Bali Maharaj
Yeah.
conquers the heavenly planets. That's going to be in the next reading then. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada
Yeah.
ki jai, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Hare Krishna.